Today, we are going to do something a little different. We're not just learning a new topic, we're learning how to learn. Think of this as your personal user guide for upgrading your brain's operating system using some of the most powerful and effective strategies out there. But let's start with a problem I am sure you run into. You spend hours, maybe even days, cramming something into your head only to have it completely vanish a week later. Sound familiar? Well, that's the frustrating reality of what's called the forgetting curve, and it's the big bug in our system that we're here to fix today. All right, so here's the game plan for our upgrade. We're going to start by building a solid foundation with the learning blueprint. Then we'll install some serious memory hacks. After that, we dive into winning the focus war, unlock some advanced cognitive tools, and wrap it all up with the daily maintenance your brain needs to run at peak performance. Okay, first up, the learning blueprint. And I really can't stress this enough. This is the most critical step. Without this, pretty much everything else just falls apart. It's all about creating a mental structure before you even start trying to absorb new information. This really gets to the heart of it. Without a framework already in your mind, new information has absolutely nothing to latch onto. It's like trying to save a file on your computer without a folder to put it in. It just gets lost in the void. All those hours of study can literally just fade away. So how do you actually build this structure? Well, it's actually pretty simple. First, just picture your brain as a hard drive. Then, you need to consciously create separate folders for each subject. You know, one for that programming language you're learning, another for history, a third for a big project at work. Mind maps are a fantastic way to actually see this structure. Once you have those folders, every new piece of info you learn can be neatly filed away, links to something you already know. All right, now that we've got our mental file system set up, it's time to install some powerful memory tools. This is where we really go on the attack against that forgetting curve we talked about. So, this is a huge one. This is the difference between how most of us study and how we should be studying. Passively rereading your notes feels easy, it feels productive, right? But it's incredibly inefficient. The real magic, the real learning, happens with active recall. That means forcing your brain to pull information out of itself without looking. It feels way harder because it is harder, and that effort is exactly what forges the strong neural pathways that make memories stick. And this leads us to a really cool and powerful idea about memory I like to call the road technique. See, forgetting isn't just about the piece of information, the destination disappearing. It's often about losing the mental path you took to get there in the first place. Every single time you use active recall, you're not just finding the answer, you are actively rebuilding and paving that cognitive road, making it smoother and easier to travel next time. Okay, we've got our structure, we've got our memory hacks, but you know what? None of it matters one bit if we can't concentrate. So, welcome to part 3 of our upgrade, winning the focus war in a world that is designed to distract you. I'm about to give you an incredibly simple but shockingly effective weapon for your arsenal, the distraction sheet. It's exactly what it sounds like. It's just a piece of paper, a notepad, sitting next to you while you work. Its only job is to be a holding pen for all those random, distracting thoughts. And the process couldn't be easier. The moment a random thought pops into your head, like, oh, I need to email my boss, or what am I going to have for dinner? Don't fight it and don't follow it. Just jot it down on the sheet and immediately get back to what you were doing. By getting the thought out of your head and onto the paper, you completely neutralize its power to derail you. And bonus, you can look at the sheet later and see what's constantly breaking your focus. This all ties into a really profound idea, separating your mind from your awareness. Think of your mind as this big, noisy, dark room that's just full of thoughts bouncing around. Your awareness, though, is the flashlight. The secret to focus is realizing that you control the flashlight. You get to choose which single thought you want to shine a light on, leaving all the others in the dark. So, we've nailed down the fundamentals. Now it's time to install some advanced software. These are the cognitive tools that are going to take your learning from just good to truly exceptional. Let's kick this off with a bit of a controversial idea. We are all taught to avoid confusion, right? We see it as a sign that we're failing, but what if we could flip that on its head? What if confusion was actually one of the most powerful tools you have for learning? This is the whole idea behind the hypothesis method. When you come across something that's confusing, don't just skip over it. Stop and force yourself to form a hypothesis. Make an educated guess about how it might work or what it might mean. Now, even if your guess is totally wrong, it doesn't matter. The act of forming it switches your brain from being a passive receiver into an active critical search engine that is now hunting for the right answer. Another fantastic advanced tool is something called dual coding. Basically, your brain processes visual information and verbal information through totally different channels. So, by combining them, let's say you read about a new coding concept and then you watch a video that explains it, you're creating two distinct pathways to the exact same piece of information. This builds a much more robust and long lasting memory. And finally, let's talk about hardware maintenance. Because you can have the most sophisticated learning software in the world, but it's not going to run well on a system that isn't taken care of. This is all about the daily habits that fuel peak cognitive performance. And yes, the fuel you put in your body absolutely matters. Foods that are rich in things like omega-3s and antioxidants, those are known to support brain function. On the flip side, tons of sugar can be really detrimental. But the single most important habit for your brain? Quality sleep. It is not passive downtime. It's when your brain is actively working to wash away metabolic toxins and, this is crucial, consolidate what you learned during the day into long-term memory. Now, if you want to supercharge that process, try this technique. Spend the last 15 minutes right before you fall asleep doing a quick, forced chronological recall of everything you studied that day. This basically primes your brain for consolidation. It's like you're telling it, hey, this stuff right here is important. Make sure you lock it in. The results can be, well, exponential. So there you have it, a complete blueprint for a cognitive upgrade. We've covered everything from building mental folders and hacking your memory to winning the war for your focus and properly maintaining the whole system. The process is all laid out for you. The upgrade is ready to be installed. So the only question left is, which tool are you going to start with first?